I should have seen it coming, the distance, the short replies, the sudden nights out that had no explanations. But love makes you blind in the cruelest way. For 2 years, I gave my all to Leah. We weren't married, but we lived like we were. I cooked for her, helped her with bills, supported her through job stress, and made sure she always felt loved. I thought we were building a future. Turns out, I was just building comfort for her until someone better came along. It started small, her phone always face down, her smile fading when I entered the room. She started dressing up more for work dinners and returning home smelling like someone else's cologne. I'd ask softly, "Where were you?" and she'd snap, "Stop being so controlling, I told you it was work." I wasn't controlling, I was worried. But she didn't want concern, she wanted freedom without accountability. The breaking point came one Friday night. She was getting ready for another meeting, wearing a tight black dress and red lipstick she never wore for me. I asked, "Who are you meeting?" She sighed, rolling her eyes like I was some annoyance. "Stop acting like we're married, Noah. You don't get a say in where I go or who I'm with." Those words, sharp, cold, and final, stuck in my chest. I stared at her for a moment, heart heavy, mind silent. Then I nodded. "You're right," I said calmly. "We're not married." She smirked, thinking she'd won the argument, and walked out the door with her purse swinging like nothing had happened. But something she didn't see. That was the moment I stopped acting like I cared. That night, I didn't text her. I didn't check where she went. Instead, I opened my laptop, canceled the weekend trip I'd planned for her birthday, and started packing my things. I'd been paying most of the rent and had my name on the lease, so leaving wasn't necessary, but staying wasn't peace. I left quietly, taking only what was mine, leaving behind her side of the closet filled with gifts I'd bought and memories that no longer mattered. By the time she returned, probably from wherever work had taken her, I was gone. My key was on the counter with a note that said, "You're right. We're not married. You're free now." She called me 20 times that night. I didn't answer. I spent that weekend at a hotel, silent, detached, watching the city lights and realizing how much of myself I'd lost trying to prove I was worth keeping. Love shouldn't feel like begging for permission to matter. 2 days later, she showed up at my office. Her tone was different now, no arrogance, just confusion. "Why did you leave?" "You're overreacting," she said. I looked at her calmly and replied, "I just stopped acting like I cared, remember?" Her face twisted in shock. She tried to play it off, saying she didn't mean what she said, that she was angry, that she needed space. But space is exactly what I gave her, permanent space. Weeks went by. She started reaching out again, texts about how she missed me, how the apartment felt empty, how she didn't realize what she had. I ignored them. Not out of spite, but because peace had finally replaced pain. She wanted to meet, to talk things through, but I had nothing left to say. Then one night, a mutual friend told me he saw her at a bar with the same man she'd been meeting for work. It didn't hurt anymore. It just confirmed what I already knew, that her love had conditions, limits, and expiration dates. Mine didn't. And that was the difference between us. Months later, she messaged me again. "I thought you said you loved me. How can you just stop caring like that?" I replied with one line, "You told me not to act like we were married." I finally listened. She didn't reply after that. Funny thing is, the moment I stopped chasing her, I started finding myself. I realized how much I'd been living around her needs, silencing my own voice just to keep the peace. I started working out, spending time with friends I'd ignored, and eventually met someone who didn't treat commitment like a cage. Someone who didn't flinch when I cared. Leah thought independence meant freedom from love. But real freedom is when you no longer have to beg to be respected. She taught me that sometimes, love dies not because of betrayal, but because one person keeps pretending while the other stops pretending to care. And when she told me to stop acting like we were married, she unknowingly gave me the best advice of my life. Because when I stopped acting like I cared, I finally remembered what it felt like to care for myself.